Joseph Moreno, thank you very much for coming in. Joe, how unusual is it for a president to launch an investigation of a special prosecutor's investigation?
Well, I mean, Kathy, so special prosecutor investigations are unusual off the bat, right? I mean,
Don't happen very often.
as they should be. So we are truly in uncharted territory now by investigating the investigator, and not just once, but at least 3 times that we know about. We have an Inspector General review, and we have at least 2 senior Justice Department officials also looking into the genesis of the Russia probe. From my perspective, getting to understand the origins of why this very serious investigation began is a perfectly legitimate question. I mean, I think that, we let Bob Mueller run his investigation to the fullest extent it needed to, and I think there's nothing wrong with finding out how that investigation actually got kickstarted. The problem is, this has the possibility of sort of devolving into a bit of a sideshow, right? Where now we are getting so far from why this whole thing started. We have so many different people looking into it, and hovering over this is the specter that this White House very much wants an investigation of the investigators, which adds a political slant to this whole thing. So, if this could have been done succinctly and to the point, that would be great. It's now turning into a multi-year, multi-actor production.
Can the American public have confidence that this is not a political process that has been launched at the behest, stated or not stated, of President Trump?
I hope so. And that's where, Bill Barr made it very clear in his confirmation hearing several months ago that he understood there should be an arm's length relationship between the politicians in the White House and the professionals at the Justice Department. This sort of scenario tends to blur that arm's length relationship, and it's very much now incumbent on our Attorney General to convince the American public that we can get to the bottom of this, we can do it in an objective, serious way, and not one that's tainted by politics.
But surely we all see, Joseph, that this is a hedge, isn't it? You have 2 investigations which are coming to a close, you open a 3rd, that means that this drips into the 2020 election. It allows Donald Trump to sow this theory that it's the Democrats that colluded, not him.
I mean, Christian, that's certainly a possibility, and that would be an unfortunate scenario if that's in fact what this turns into. If we have 1 or 2 or 3 different investigations running in parallel, creeping up to the 2020 presidential election, and we go into that campaign with no resolution to any of this. That would be the most frustrating scenario. Hopefully, the approach is that all 3 are combined and there is some sort of efficiency, some sort of coordination between the 3 efforts, and to get us to some kind of a finality so we can move on, from this issue.
We know what they think of the former FBI Director James Comey, but we also know now that there were dozens of interactions between Russians and members or hangers-on within the Trump campaign. If the FBI hadn't have investigated that, they would have been sleeping at the wheel.
Well, that's right. I mean, we've known for years that Russia did, in fact, interfere with the 2016 election and did, in fact, do so to benefit one candidate, Donald Trump, over the other candidate, Secretary Clinton. We know that for a fact, and we've known that for a long time. We also know that the Trump campaign, while they perhaps didn't collude in the vernacular that's often used, there were a lot of interactions. There was a lot of almost encouragement of assistance. And that, while maybe towing the line of illegality, is certainly improper, is certainly unseemly. So, again, the idea of sort of devolving this into a political issue that just drags on and on and on is the worst possible outcome we could have here.
Okay. Joe Moreno. Joe, by the way, Christian, is a very, very good former prosecutor. I've also just found out he's a very, very good dad. He has 7 children under the age of 11. I have 4, you have 2. We are slackers.
I take my hat off to Joe. How he juggles all that, I have no idea.
I couldn't resist sharing that with you. Since Joe's a regular on our programme, I could not resist sharing this on the programme.